Deresley. First, I must apologise for the big delay there's been since my last videos. I know it's been busy and the summer's been hot and there's many more excuses, but I kind of lost track of my railway and the building projects through the months, and I'm just making every effort to get back into it now. But at this stage I'd like to say a big thanks to all my subscribers. You've held fairly steady through the intervening months, and it's nice that you stayed with me, and I really do appreciate it, so many thanks indeed. I've not been entirely away from railway modelling over the months. I have in fact for over a year now been involved with an exhibition layout called The Spirit of Swindon. It featured in Radio Modeller recently. In fact, it was featured over 3 issues from July through to September, and my weathering, which is what I did the weathering for all the stock, the locomotives and the buildings, actually featured on the front cover of the July issue. So I was really pleased about that. And as I say, it's mainly the weathering I did. Well, in fact, it was only the weathering I did. The track weathering and the layout was done by a little layouts company, but I did all the rolling stock, the goods wagons, the coaches and the locomotives, and all the scratch-built buildings. So it was quite a challenge. And the bit that covers the bit I did appeared in the September, let's get it right, the September issue, and there's a little bit of the article I did on my approach to the weathering for the layout in there. It previewed, it had its first outing at the beginning of the year in spring at St Neots Model Railway Club exhibition at Wood Green, where it won Best in Show, and it's been out since to Swindon fairly recently in September, so that went well, I understand, although I didn't get there myself. What I'll do at the end of this update video is to put some stills up of some of the weathering work I did on this layout. Anyway, in the meantime, let's go over to Deresley and have a look at some of the things that I have managed to do over the past few months. One of the things I've been doing is making up some white metal kits. They're very simple actually to put together, and I started with some I'd collected for the platform, these little sack barrows and trolleys, and there's another little trolley over here. I'll move it into shot. Okay, which I think look very attractive. I quite enjoyed making those, and I've got some more things to make in the way of these white metal kits, so I might well do a little video on them. On the goods platform I've got another one. This is the full set I've done, as it were, and this is a little sack barrow. I think they're attractive, and they set off the little detailed bits on both platforms quite well. A slightly bigger model can be seen here. This is a coal sack or a sack elevator. It's this grey colour. This is primer. The white metal kits are quite shiny, and they need a primer, and I've yet to grubby it up. It'll probably be black and weathered like the coal lorry. This forklift truck kit from Nightwing, again in white metal, is another kit I plan to do shortly, and I might well make a video of this. Again, while I'm about it, I might well paint some of the white metal figures I have. These are dark castings, and they're very nice, I think. I haven't done any yet, but they look very promising. You can see the finish of the white metal. That's a little worker with a barrow. Perhaps this one will go with the elevator. It's a worker carrying a coal sack. Another worker with sack, and I quite like this one. It's a worker having a rest. I like that one. I've also done some scratch building. This one I'm particularly pleased with. At long last I've put a little point in here, a little station where the diesels can be refueled. It's just scratch built with card, a couple of layers of card to build it up, and a pallet and an oil drum and a dustbin, you know, just collecting some bits together. The actual pump itself, this assembly here, is from an old Airfix garage kit, a plastic garage kit. I cut the thing off the top, you know, the advertising logo, the make of you know, fuel supplied, and I've made this look plainer. And I've made a hose from a coil of lead solder, so that you can get a sort of, you can mould it easily or shape it easily to get that feeling of the weight of the original dropping and just coiling on the ground. The other little bits, the little wheels were left over from the railway crane I did, and I mounted them on little bits of sprue and plastic just to give a finishing touch. I didn't make anything too elaborate. I saw some images online, some pictures online, which showed some quite simple refuelling stages, and I thought for Deresley with its one diesel shunter, it doesn't need to be anything too elaborate. So I'm quite pleased with that. I am, however, not so pleased with this little barn. This structure is made to cover the last of the surface mounted point motors. It just fits over the top. But the problem I'm having with it is I'm using the printed fabric, and I must admit I don't buy branded inks for my printer, and I find the inks I'm using now just fade too much. So I'm going to remake this. I've bought some printed weathered timber papers, and I've got some brick papers. I've got some Metcalfe brick papers, but I've got one or two others that I've bought over the years, and I'm going to replace the brickwork with and the timber with printed material. I'll probably make a roof with the layering like I did in the shop building earlier. So this is just balsa wood. I think it looks a little heavy, so all in all, although it hides the point, it is not a particularly brilliant model, and it needs changing. Another thing I've continued to do here is to increase the amount of ground cover and green foliage that's encroaching into the area of the goods yard and the station area. I think generally our landscape is much greener than we imagine when we come to model it, and although I need to have open spaces for photography and operating the thing, I'm going to try and get as much greenery as I can in it. So I put some ground cover and some low bushes. I think the effect is quite good, and it sort of eases the grey and the tarmac and the roads and the yards into the scenic area a lot better. Finally, on my bench, let me show you this project that I've been working on for a couple of months now, off and on of course. It's a conversion, a sort of conversion of the two-car DMU, and what I've done is I've fitting a decoder in both cars. This I've only just started, this one is completely finished, and it works amazingly. So what I've done is I've got the interior lights in it, but I've also got full operating lights in here. If I can turn that round, what I quite liked is in some of the earlier video footage and photographs I've found of these things in the late 50s, early 60s, they had brackets, lamp brackets, and they used the old loco lamps fitted on it. So what I've done is fitted a loco lamp on here, and when the DMU is running in the opposite direction, this will go red, and when it's coming forward, that will go out. So that little light's going to work, and the other running lights here will also work. Obviously they're white lights, the two either side, and when it's going forwards with this at the front, they'll be on. So quite an interesting little project, and it's coming on quite well. I was going to do a video of it, but I'm no great electrician, and it took me an age to fiddle around with this and chop and change things around. I did start to video it, but it was a lengthy procedure and the video editing became lengthy, so I was forced to abandon the editing. So I'm working on this slowly, and I might well put a bit of this, because this car is going to be very similar to that one. I might finish this with a video. Now I know a bit what I'm doing with that one. I might finish this with a video and show you the completed one working. In my final shot here, I'm going to show a little light I fitted some months ago now to the guards van, and it was done on a similar way with the reed switch that I used for my coach lighting. I think it looks quite good, and so I'll leave you with this shot and some stills from the Spirit of Swindon. Thanks for watching, thanks for all your patience. Please like, subscribe and comment in the usual way.